welcome everyone to episode 99 of One Piece at a Time, the One Piece read-through podcast where we read and discuss 5 chapters of the One Piece manga each and every week. I'm your host, Derek Bittner, and I'm joined by my wonderful co-host and freelance letterer at Shonen Jump, Brandon Bovia. How you doing, Brandon?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm, of course, Brandon Bovia, letterer of manga like Kaiju number 8 and Dragon Ball Super. I think I usually say it in the reverse order. Anyway, but it's funny that we're here at episode 99. Whereas also, Dragon Ball Super just hit chapter 100.
Oh, wow.
And Kaiju number 8 is about to hit chapter 100. So I'm just like, I'm surrounded by 100 episode milestones. I was like, how about that?
Yeah, just all kind of lined up this time. Weird.
Yeah, it's very weird.
We'll take those, though. So,
yeah,
that's exciting. And you know what? To celebrate, Oda decided to toss us a bone and give us even more content to potentially talk about in the future. Who knows?
Yeah.
Because we got the announcement of The One Piece, a new anime from Studio Wit that's going to be releasing on Netflix that essentially seems to be One Piece Kai.
Yeah. Or perhaps One Piece Brotherhood, if that's your speed, because it seems like it's a full-on remake. Like,
yeah, I guess One Piece Brotherhood is probably a better way to put it, just because Kai was a recut.
Yeah,
this seems it's a brand new animation studio, so yeah.
Yeah, I was initially very excited by the prospect of this, just because on paper you're like, man, yeah, the Toei anime, for all that it does right. It is, probably its most infamous aspect is the fact that it's slow.
Yeah,
it is slow as molasses, and it has only gotten worse with time.
Yeah,
just with how close the anime runs to the manga. We're consistently like about a year behind the manga now, and the manga takes frequent breaks. So So we get more anime episodes every year than we get chapters of the manga, which,
And it feels like we should, they should do a, sad to say this, a Naruto filler arc where it's just, so many episodes of filler after filler after filler. But I think with One Piece being so close to the end, that would kind of almost hurt the pacing even more.
Yeah, I'm
no
certain.
Good answer.
Yeah, I'm certain they know. And this is sort of like whatever that they're doing now is kind of the best solution for them. And like, I respect that. And obviously like the One Piece anime is incredible in a lot of ways right now and has been for the past like 4 years. But like, that is just like the last little missing piece is like, yeah, the way they adapt the material is often just kind of agonizing.
Yeah. But what has you nervous about this new production?
The thing, it's sort of a couple things. It's that, like, I think anime in general is not really set up in a way in the modern era to really handle adapting a manga as long as One Piece. Just because, like, everybody's crunched. There's so many projects in the pipeline. Like, there's so much anime being made that, like, there's kind of no room, and because everybody's crunched, there's the industry is bleeding animators basically, so it seems like this is a potentially bad time for this project, and on top of that, both I look at both Netflix and Wit Studio, who are not particularly known for like writing out long projects. The longest, Wit is probably most famous for Attack on Titan. They hung out for 3 seasons of that, which got like progressively rougher and rougher kind of on the back end and was never really as far as like production wise, like they were always kind of a crunchy studio. And then there's other things like Ancient Magus Bride and Vinland Saga, where they're kind of like we do 1 season and we dip.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or the like the second, like the sequels are handled by other studios in all those cases.
I see.
Yeah. So I have a trepidation that like, are they really going to be able to? Even of course, if it's faster, like a faster version of One Piece is still like 800 episodes.
True. But it's still a lot. And I mostly know them from Spy Family.
Yeah. And that's the thing about Spy Family too, is that they share it.
Yes.
They animate it with Cloverworks. So they're like every other episode, basically. I guess it's just it at the end of the day is that like, I think when this thing starts, and it sounds like because they basically had nothing to show, so I think this is a ways off. And I think once they do, like, the East Blue content is probably going to be awesome. But
Yeah.
I'm just like,
But
the
it's also,
longevity
how
of
many
it, I
times
think-
have we seen the East Blue now?
Yeah, exactly. That's the other thing that I feel like that sort of gets into what we'll get into next time. But there are lots of like remakes and TV specials and stuff already that are kind of the opposite problem of the anime, the TV series, is that they go way too fast.
Mm-hmm.
And that was even a problem I had with the live action too. It's just like there are so many different versions of the story, and I think pretty much all of them outside of the manga are like kind of compromised in one way or another.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, and maybe that, I think that's,
I guess the hope is that this anime is the one that will get that manga specific, like, really translated thing. But
yeah,
they could probably do that for the first season, but will they maintain that?
Yeah, I think it will be, and this is not getting even into like Netflix. They love canceling stuff after a couple seasons. Although, and their relationship with like anime and anime licensing is really weird, because there's some stuff that they're like are very much just like, we got the license for this and it's airing in Japan and whatever. Like, and then there's other stuff that's like, no, we're putting our full brunt behind this and we are supporting it. But those usually come in the way of like, kind of one-off projects.
Maybe after the success of the live action, they'll be a bit more on top of things with this.
Yeah.
Because they seem to treat Stranger Things well.
Yeah. It seems like they have some projects that are kind of like their golden geese. Mm-hmm. And I think One Piece really, like, it has the potential to be one of those. I just think, again, just like with their history and with like, for all of Toei's faults, they know how to keep an anime running. They make multiple long running projects. They have multiple of those. They do One Piece. We haven't had Dragon Ball in a little while, but they have like Precure every year. They have like Digimon anime that run for like a year, and various other projects that are like they know how to keep stuff going. For better or for better or worse. Yeah. but there's sort of like that. There's that institutionalized knowledge of how to run a project. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if Wit has that. So we'll see. But I think if like everything kind of lines up, it has the potential to be the definitive version.
Which would be really cool, but
yeah.
We'll see.
And I'm always open to seeing a different take.
Yeah. At the very least, we have that. Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see how that all ends up. It's going to be a while till we actually get to see it. So there it is.
One more thing I wanted to mention, though, speaking of Netflix and One Piece projects, because they're also doing and this will be relevant to this episode of the podcast, but they're doing an adaptation of Monsters. Monsters, which is an old one-shot that Eiichiro Oda did before One Piece. That sort of, as we'll see, we'll get to that. It was sort of retroactively canonized into One Piece.
That's always impressive.
I think like projects like that, I think are, because it's probably going to be like a movie length. Like a one shot, I think is so much more of a healthier proposition.
Yeah, and especially when it's, I looked to see if it was on Shonen Jump, and it's not. It's not on the Shonen Jump app.
I keep calling it Monster. Monsters, I think, was released in English at some point. I think it might have been bundled in with like one of the box sets or something.
Oh, okay.
I could be wrong about that, but yeah, it's definitely not widely available or anything currently.
We'll have to see what all comes of that. But in the meantime, I actually feel like this is a pretty chunky set of chapters.
Yeah, I sort of got the vibe. I feel like we're putting off getting into the content itself proper, but like these set of chapters felt like modern One Piece, if that makes sense. Like these are like dense, chunky chapters where it starts to feel like Oda has a lot more things going on at any one time, and so I think that's sort of this might be the turning point. I mean, I kind of thought like Eniya's Lobby was sort of the turning point, but that's still fairly like action packed. But like here we have lots of like really dense storytelling chapters.
It definitely feels like that. I'm not familiar with modern One Piece as far as how it plays out now, but I feel like this is the point where, like, okay, setup's done, let's go.
Yeah, certainly.
It definitely feels like that. And, well, let's see what it's all about as we get into chapter 446, Dr. Hogback. And I love this cover art.
It's awesome with this Viking spread.
And I gotta say, Luffy and Zoro absolutely look the coolest.
They kill it. Yeah, just Luffy with like the goggles on. He's great.
The piece of meat, the binoculars. It's like, oh, that looks good.
I really the best part about Frankie officially joining the crew now is that he gets in on the color spreads and he's rocking it. I love it.
You gotta love that specialized helmet to accommodate his hair.
Yeah. Yes, of course.
Oh, it's good stuff. All right. Well, we begin with our trio of scaredy cats making it to the mansion they were supposed to go to anyway, and they're just trying to figure out what's all going on there. But deep inside, they can see a spotlight lighting up an old well, when all of a sudden a woman rises out of the well and scares the hell out of them.
Yeah, she just starts chucking plates at them.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't realize she was holding plates at first, but yeah, she just starts throwing plates at them and just like, what the heck? She's like, and Usopp's like, wait, why are you throwing them at me? And it's like, yes, you're the only one that may not enter the mansion. Chopper, Nami, you're cool. And she's finally stopped by, we find out her name is Sindri, and we get an explanation for why she does this. Apparently used to be engaged to a very wealthy man, but to test his love, she shattered 10 valuable plates from his cherished dining set, and the engagement was called off. Hers is a sad tale of disgrace and dishonor, like having boogers stuck to her face, which is such a funny line. Cast out of the mansion, and his plate-hating servant. And that's when we get the proper introduction. This is Dr. Hogback, which is...
he just screams villain.
Yeah, he totally screams villain. Like, he is Dr. Eggman crossed with Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Yeah. It's just the round body, the super long legs.
Yeah.
it's the kind of split back fur coat. It's great.
It is such a strange design, and
yes.
Whew. I love after this great introduction, Sindri still just throws that final plate at Usopp.
Yeah. It's just her. I guess her whole bitch. She's just like, I wish all plates would disappear from the earth. And I love like this continuingly escalating bit of Hogback just like trying to calm her down and just trying to roll with the bit like best he can. He's just like, oh, come on.
You wouldn't think the plate would be that good, but honestly, it gets pretty funny as the
yeah, it does. I was not expecting it to escalate the way that it does.
No,
it's like oh, this is a running gag.
Oh yeah, but of course Chopper's immediately enamored, and he's like, well, let's talk inside and let all three of you in, and they all head inside along with Sindri, but freaking Hogback is left outside.
Yeah, it's just some servant.
Yeah, it's something, all right. They basically give him the rundown. It's like, hey, we were attacked by zombies, so we came here to escape. Also saw strange creatures. He's just like, oh, so you were attacked. I'm surprised you made it here in one piece. I live here because, well, I don't know what those creatures are either. So I do research on zombies, as Chopper intuits. It's all about the research of maybe if I study these zombies, I can figure out the key to immortality and bringing the dead back to life. Yeah.
Red flag.
That's a bad sign. That's a real bad sign. Yeah. But of course, Chopper's completely enamored because he gets called Dr. Chopper.
Of course, yes. Just completely in on the bit. And I feel like at this point, well, again, I love this on the next page. You know, Chopper asks for an autograph and then he's like, hey, can I look at your lab later? And then he just gets in real close. No one may look at my laboratory ever. You're just like, okay, yeah.
And that face on Chopper is fantastic.
It's great, yeah. No, if you hadn't caught on to this point, I think there might be something a little up with this Dr. Hogback fella. I don't know if he's completely on the level, you know?
I think you might be right. But here comes Sindri delivering their pudding desserts without plates.
Yes.
Because she hates plates. The way it escalates is like, I hate, continue to hate plates, but because she does this so often, he makes sure that the tablecloth is washed impeccably clean. And that's one thing. But then the really funny thing is that Chopper and Usopp just go with the bit and start eating
it. They just start eating it off of it. That's the part that got me.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Just their mouth. Oh my God.
And I think even Hogback's in on it.
He's licking the tablecloth at some point too.
Yeah.
Basically, it's like, y'all got so dirty from that zombie attack. We prepared yourselves a bath before you go to bed. And before they leave for that, Usopp asks about a weird skeleton walking around, like a skeleton with an afro. And that's when we also get something. He's like, no, I don't know anything. I mean, while in his head, he's like, do they mean him? No, it couldn't be. It's like, what do they know about Brook?
Yeah, I guess I think we'll start to see how this all kind of comes together.
Yeah, I honestly don't remember the exact connection that Brook would be so notable to them, I guess is the big thing for me.
Yeah.
We had that whole mention of a bath and, of course, who's going to want getting a bath? It's Nami.
Yeah.
And you know how we commented the last set of chapters about like, oh man, Nami had a bath scene with no fan service. Welcome to all the fan service.
I think this might actually be in the running for the worst scene in the entire manga.
Yeah.
I'm not joking. I think it might actually be the worst one.
It would not surprise me because when it first starts, it's normal. It's sort of whatever. It's just like, okay, typical One Piece.
Yeah, she's just talking to the guys outside, and they're hanging outside the shower. She's,
having them
scared of being attacked, guarding the door.
Yeah, which scared of being attacked, but I'm still going to get naked and get a bath.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, which is that was my first thought. It's like, Nami, you're smarter than this. And the reason the boys aren't getting a bath is because they'll just get dirty again. So like, all right, whatever. And she's immediately like, all right,
logic.
Once it's night, we're getting out of here. And I do love the panel. Is like when Usopp like kind of looks in to say, what are you talking about? And she does this bank shot off the wall to send the bucket at him to get him out of the room.
And she's not even looking, like she just knows that. Yeah.
Basically, they're not as worried. They're like, let's just stay here. And of course, Chopper loves Hogback. And Nami's like, you guys have been paying attention to this mansion? Like everything looks like this mansion's full of zombies already. So yeah, we're going to get out of here as soon as the night's over. And the thing gets me is she's doing a traditional Japanese bath where it's shower, then get into the tub and soak for a bit. If she didn't soak, it'd be like, oh, come on.
Right. Just kind of, just get in, get out.
Yeah.
But we got.
Instead, we get a familiar growl that we encountered on the ship, except this time it actually talks, saying how clever Nami is. And she's like, calls out to them, is like, did you guys say something? And he's like, no, I didn't say anything. And that's when Usopp farts, which makes them laugh at each other. But all of a sudden, Nami gets taken by the hand, yanked out of the bath, pushed up against the wall, obviously being pinned to the wall with her wrists, and then having her mouth covered with only steam covering her up. And it's so yeah, we're seeing a scene here where Nami's being sexually assaulted. That's wonderful, especially with the guy saying, I'm going to make you my bride. It's like, this doesn't belong in One Piece.
Yeah, and then God, this bit with Usopp too feels really out of character, where he's bowing and saying thank you for she's in danger, and he's just like, wow, boobies. I'm just like, oh, come on, guys.
Yeah, like
Chopper's
still laughing about Usopp's fart. Usopp is just like, wow. Fortunately, Nami is able to kick this assaulters in the crotch, seemingly, getting them out of there, which allows them to try to go after them, but we even still have the dumb jokes going on where it's like, oh, I can smell it. And you're like, oh, still?
It's just something about it. I don't know, man.
it's not like it's a weird thing where it's not super egregious, but it also doesn't feel like this belongs in One Piece.
Yeah, and I think it's just a little beyond the line for me personally.
Yeah, I think if it was just Nami being attacked in the bath by a non-pervert and they'd be danger that way would be enough. The fact that he is a pervert saying he wants to make her his bride, that's where it feels like it goes a step too far.
Yeah, and just the I don't know, of all of the times to like place a fart joke, just like this is, it feels sort of not really true to the characters or the situation, which is a real rarity, you know.
He's trying to do the balance of that he's been trying to do for the entire arc so far, of something scary but also something silly that takes away the tension.
Yeah.
And this is too real to do that thing effectively.
Yeah, certainly. I think it's just it's not really treated, I think, with the right tone or the right weight.
Yeah, I feel like Oda's is still showing that he's not quite ready for that kind of writing.
Yeah, although no, I was going to say. How do I want to frame this? Yeah, no, I like this is probably one of the worst scenes in the manga, but there are plenty of other sort of like questionable situations that just kind of has to be like, come on, dog.
Yeah,
you know, yeah. But I think the most complimentary thing I can say is that none of these really last too long.
No, that is done and over with. It made me a little nervous for the rest of this, but honestly, as soon as you get out of that situation and get
the rest is great
and get back to the rest, this is a great set of chapters.
Yeah. So
Without a doubt.
I'm glad we got through this early in that sense. If this was like the last chapter of a set, I would have been like, ugh.
Yeah, it would have been a poor way to end it. Instead, we have the ship caught up in a giant web, and they're basically like, all right, well, we're caught up in here. Let's go find the others, see if they're safe. They're basically following the way they went, and they come across Cerberus. And I just love the line. I love the lines from everybody where Sanji's like, oh, it was probably safer in hell. And Robin just thinks it's cute. And
yeah.
Frankie's like, oh, is that thing picking a fight? And of course, Luffy is, do you think it tastes good? And like Cerberus is like, what?
This is the beginning of, I think, I was not ready for, like, not only, oh god, the 3 scaredy cats, you know, they went in first, so they have to deal with all the scary stuff, and then now we have the 5 strongest members on the crew just kind of like, lol.
Yeah, very much so.
It's like, oh,
it's a very interesting dynamic to have those two sets separated.
Yeah.
Where they don't have to act as a protector or anything like that. So
yeah,
I'm curious about this one.
Yeah, they just get to roll through it.
Yep. All right. Well, let's get to chapter 447, Zombie in the Box, where we get Descent for Aneru, where he has arrived at the top of the space pirate ship, glowing brightly, ready to take them on, apparently.
Yeah. Are they wearing boxing gloves? Are their fists boxing gloves? What the hell is... What is happening?
They are the weirdest angular designs. I don't get it. It is so weird.
I will say I had a rather illuminating conversation with a pal of mine around some of the stuff depicted in this cover story that kind of blew my mind.
Oh, really?
That I won't be able to talk about for a very, very, very long time.
Oh my god!
there's some things in here that just like had me go like, oh, that's what that is. It's just like, god damn it, Oda.
Of course.
Yep.
All right. Well, let's get into the chapter itself as they are continuing to confront Cerberus, and Luffy's like, let me try to tame it. And
yeah, he's just like, good boy.
Good boy. And he immediately gets chomped on by it. And he's just, even as he has like his head in the mouth of one of those Cerberuses, he's like, oh, that's a good boy. Now slowly let go. And he just punches him in the face and knocks him into the wall.
He calls it dumb dog. Yeah. And then I think like basically for the rest of the chapter, you know, Luffy's writing on it. He's tamed Cerberus.
He tamed it. And then just sort of inspecting, he's like, there's a terrible wounds, and one of the heads is a fox. Like, what the heck's going on with this thing? And Luffy's just immediately taking it as like, oh, I got to see something fun right away. And
he's having the time of his life.
Yeah. And that's when he sees the tree and the unicorn sharing a drink. and he immediately tries to catch the tree. And Frankie catches the unicorn.
Or then it's like, hey, guys, you want to join my crew? They're just like, no, stop that.
It's so good.
Yeah. Luffy is at his peak power in these scenes, honestly.
Oh, my gosh. It is. I'd say some of the funniest stuff is just Luffy confronting horrors and just loving it.
Yes, just eating it up.
But back in the mansion, we finally get a name for our invisible man. His name is Absalom. So, and he's just still declaring that he wants to make Nami his bride, which, lovely. But apparently, because she has a bounty, he can't have her, according to Hogback. So, yeah, surprise, surprise, Hogback can't be trusted.
Yeah, he seems to know a lot, you know.
Yeah, and this ghost that came into the ship earlier says they have 6 bounties. One is worth over 100 million. Another one is over 300 million. And the ghost is known as Perona. So, yeah. He's like, all right, well, we have a big job tonight. I just have to give you all to capture them. And it's like, what are they up to? Why are they so concerned about bounties? I guess it's an island full of bounty hunters, potentially. Fun as research. But back in the mansion, we're back with our Scaredy trio. I will say I do like Nami's look for this. She looks like some sort of keeper. Of the keeper of the mansion with the candelabra, the ponytail. It works.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah.
Yeah. Usopp's insisting there's no such thing as an invisible man. It's like, you saw it. You blasted him. You saw what's all happening.
Come on now.
Yeah, it's just like he just does not want to believe any of the horrors in this. And
and that's probably his way of coping, certainly.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And Chopper is still of the opinion that he trusts Dr. Hogback. And they're expecting a painting. And she's just like, well, I just have a hunch because this place is so creepy. And they get back to the main dining room and they're like, well, where is everybody? What's going on? And that's when they see the bat. That was
the bat. Oh, Hilden.
Hilden, that's it. And he just sort of says like, oh, I went with the horses to go to the bathroom, but as soon as I took my eyes off you, you were gone. He's like, no, that's not right.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. And they're like, we don't trust you anymore. And that's when all of a sudden the painting starts talking. It's like, you got shot down, Hilden.
Yep.
It's like, tough luck.
Just give up the ghost.
And man, that is a freaky image where it's coming out of the wall, scaring the heck out of Chopper.
Yeah, it scares him so bad his hat starts flying up.
Yeah, his antlers go up with the hat. It's so good. And that's when the room starts coming alive, and they start just like the head zombie of the room, oink, oink, Chuck.
Yeah, all this crazy stuff happening.
Yeah. Basically, everything with stitches in the room starts coming alive, including a bearskin rug, and begins attacking. And like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. Well, Usopp is quickly convinced.
Yep.
He was right.
And fortunately, Usopp is ready. He gathers up all the candles in the chandelier and starts tossing them around, setting everything on fire.
Right, yeah, because he last time we saw this, like, oh yeah, fireworks, super good on these guys.
Yeah. Honestly, Usopp's been incredibly useful.
Yeah.
Other than his poor timing of a fart, but yeah. Unfortunately, the door's locked and they can't get out until the bear, knocks the room open, and they make a run for it. And actually, they don't when we get in there, they lean against the fireplace and it leads to a secret passage.
I got to admit, I love how like this sequence is, again, like we said at the top of the show, this is dense. There's a lot of stuff happening.
So much happening. I'm condensing a lot.
Yeah.
It seems like every panel is dedicated to scaring them in some way, having some kind of crazy visual.
I think this. I really appreciate like Thriller Bark really feels like it has like a strong sense of place because we're seeing so much in just like quick succession, and this like they're getting attacked by so many different kinds of like ghosts and zombies and creepy stuff that it feels like you could spend an eternity in here. Yeah,
and you don't have to do, unlike like Skypiea, you don't have to explain like how it all works. Oh, it's a haunted mansion.
It's ghost.
People get
exactly. It. Yeah. There's not really any much more than that.
Yeah. But the room they stumble into seems to be Sindri's room, or at least a room dedicated to Sindri, as there's all kinds of pictures of her all over the place, except she doesn't have those stitches. Interesting. Yeah. But that's the chapter for now, and just a good little setup chapter. Like, oh, things are getting bad.
Yeah, the antics are fun. You can, as far as all of like the zombie stuff is concerned, you can tell Oda's just like he's just drawing all sorts of like weird undead stuff.
Oh yeah. Time for chapter 447, Moria. And we get a flashback all of a sudden from freaking Captain Spacey, which reveals that he's a robot.
What I want to know is if this is still the moon. I'm unsure.
It is not. I don't believe it is, thanks to later chapter titles.
Okay.
Because apparently this is Machine Island, which God knows if that's going to come back. I have no idea.
Yeah.
Or who this old man is that's making him.
Yeah, I have no earthly idea.
Like, where is this going? That's the big question.
Yeah, I have no. Yeah. Of the things that was like, oh, okay, I can sort of see, what Oda was doing with that. This stuff, I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah.
There's still so much we don't know about this world.
That's for sure. In the chapter itself, they're just looking over and seeing like, wow, there's all these pictures of her and no stitches. And if it's her room, why is it dedicated all to her? And that's when Nami discovers a bunch of articles about her. Her name was Victoria Sindri. She used to be in the theater as a famous actress. And they were like, wait, I thought she was a servant. And she's like, no, it's not the case. She seems to be from an aristocratic family. And when she was younger, she was a popular actress until, well, she fell from the stage and died 10 years ago.
She's a zombie.
She's a zombie. Oh, crap.
Yep.
There's a kind of good-looking zombie. Weird. But she hates plates.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and then I guess that's sort of like a Chopper putting it all together. Like the people on this island are real zombies.
Yes, and that of course freaks out Usopp.
Yep.
Who falls back and reveals a treasure chest. And it's like, oh, open it. And it's not a treasure chest. He's like, this room isn't the treasure chamber. It's a jack in the box, and scares the crap out of all of them.
And of course, Nami's like, he said this room wasn't the treasure chamber.
Yeah, he's like, oh, we got a goal here. And all of a sudden, like, more of the paintings start coming out in the hallway, trying to attack them. When all of a sudden, a bodyguard, they're like calling out, like, hey, bodyguard, take care of them. And I know we're supposed to be tricked by this, or maybe not. Like, it feels like they're like, according to later stuff, to be tricked because of the whole yo ho ho.
Yeah.
But I never thought, that they're making you try to think this is Brooke, but like, no, this is obviously not Brooke.
Yeah. I mean, although, it makes me curious what connections this bodyguard has to Brooke. That is something I genuinely do not remember.
Okay.
But,
yeah, I have.
What is clear is that, like, he seems to share the mannerisms. So
yeah, true. We go back to the strong group, and it's like, why do you keep trying to get weird things to join the crew? It's like, we already have a raccoon and a robot. It's like, I'm not a robot. I'm a cyborg.
I love how Frankie takes offense to that, and then Sanji's like, you're a pervert to the core, and Frankie's like, well then, as long as you understand.
It's not a compliment.
So he doesn't want to be called a robot, but he'll own being called a pervert.
Yeah. Of course, Robin's already figuring things out. She's like, all those creatures have bandages and stitches and a number placed somewhere in their body. So are they working for someone? And I love how the Cerberus is warmed up to Robin. Like, she's in her
she's
element.
petting him. It's kind of great. I feel like you get the sense Robin has she loves cursed stuff.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
It's so obvious. But all of a sudden, Perona the ghost shows up, just saying negative. It's like, okay. And then it splits into 3 ghosts. Like, what's going on there? And of course, this is Luffy's chance. He gets the chance to actually capture a ghost with his net,
which of course isn't gonna work.
And not even Frankie's fireworks. So no good there. But it then passes through him, and he's just like, I totally suck this week. Everything I do sucks. I want to die. And Luffy tries to get it, and the same thing happens. It's like, if I were reincarnated, I'd want to be a clam.
I love Sanji's just kind of like, your tech didn't work. Get over it.
And that's when Robin figures out, it's like, touching them makes him depressed. And Zoro's immediately like, you guys are pathetic. You don't have discipline and willpower. They can make a fool out of you. And then he goes through him. It's like, I'm sorry I was born.
Wow, how quickly they were all dispatched.
Yes. Not even Zoro can hold up to it.
The most dangerous power of all, depression.
Yeah. But that thing being said, it doesn't seem to last too long on them, because the ghosts kind of leave, And they're all mad. It's like, all right, where are those ghosts? They have to have a weak point. We'll wipe them out. It's like, I don't want them as pets. I don't want them at all. Let's just get rid. We're going to take care of them. We're pissed.
I love that Sanji's just laughing it up. Like it feels like because he got clowned on at the beginning of the arc by Zoro. It feels like the situation's been reversed a bit.
It's really good. So yeah, they're still trying to figure out the mystery, and they finally arrive at the cemetery. And this is when we get to my favorite joke in all of One Piece.
This is one of the best ones.
Where Luffy sees a hand rise out of the grave, moan, try to come up. It's obvious a zombie. And Luffy just goes up to him, puts his hand on his shoulder, pushes him back in the grave. And it's I remember the first time reading this, I lost it so hard.
Yeah.
It's such a simple joke done so well.
It's so smart. Yeah. Oh, God. And then, of course, he's just like, don't put me back in the ground, idiot. And then Luffy just says, an old man with severe injuries.
It's a zombie, you stupid. And that's when all the zombies start coming up and they're like, all right, show them terror. And I love this. We get each of them in a battle pose. It's like, oh, we'll show you terror.
Yeah. You need to be afraid of us.
Oh, yeah. And you gotta love the 2-page spread we get on the next one. 600 million buried jackpot. That's awesome.
It's great. Yeah. Again, all of the strongest members of the crew get into style.
Yep. Oh, I love it. And they're immediately all cowed to them, kind of like the Frankie family reminding me. Like the undead Frankie family. Mm-hmm. They were like, we're zombies and we were buried, rotting or something. And it's like, all right, we're looking for these 3. Did they pass through here? It's like, yeah, we saw them. We did that. You better not have attacked them. No, we didn't attack him. Be honest, he attacked them.
Yeah,
don't sue me out.
I love just Luffy kind of being in serious mode, able to actually get the truth out of it. It's somehow really funny to me.
Yeah, and of course they leave them all because they attacked them to bury them head down into the graves.
Yes,
that's when they get approached by somebody else. And it's like, oh, man, you're so frighteningly strong. Can I have a word with you? And that's when Luffy's like, an old man with severe injuries? No, it's another zombie. He's like, no, I'm an old man with severe injuries.
Yeah. Which it's one of those things where, like, the first time you're like, that's an oddly specific error for Luffy to make. And then the way that it swings back around.
it's such a good swing back. I love it. It's so damn good. But the old man, after seeing their strength, says, hey, there's somebody I want you to defeat for me. I know you can do it. He has a long trail of victims, but once you defeat him, everyone will be saved, and our shadows will be returned. And they're like, oh, yeah, you don't have a shadow. And they're like, all right, well, who do you want us to defeat? Well, his name is Moria. And immediately Robin's like, wait, do you mean Gecko Moria? Like, oh, you know him? Well, his original bounty was higher than yours, Luffy. Gecko Moria is another of the 7 warlords of the sea.
Here we go.
Gotta
fight another one.
I believe this is our 5th one now, right? Because we have Crocodile, we have Mihawk. We had the 2 that went to the meeting.
Oh, Kuma and Doflamingo. Those in Jaya.
And now we have Moria. So that puts us at 5.
Yep. Yeah. So we only got 2 left that we haven't seen yet.
Yeah, 2 more. And I
know who one of them is. I don't know who the other one is.
I'm the same way. I can't remember the 7th. I know the 6th, but I can't remember the 7th. Huh. Weird. Either way, that definitely ramps some things up that we're fighting another warlord. Like, ooh,
I think it's important information that I kind of glossed over. That is like, oh yeah, okay, so his bounty is higher than Luffy's or his previous bounty, so that puts him at like over 300k.
Yeah,
I guess like in my mind, I kind of grouped them all together. Like, oh yeah, they're probably around the same like threat level as Crocodile, because he was like 100, right? Or like 80.
80.
Even?
Yeah, 80.
Yeah. So I guess it really goes to show that, like, no, they have quite a wide range.
For sure. And well, we'll get
I remember who the other 2 warlords were.
Oh, okay.
I got it. Okay.
I can't remember who the 7th is. I'm pretty sure I've met them all by this point, but I can't remember the last one.
You have, certainly, yes.
Huh. Well, we'll have to wait until I can actually remember that as we get into chapter 449, The Four Monsters of Thriller Bark. And God, another gorgeous color spread for this one.
They have to have made like a figure of Nami in that dress, right? I kind of want one.
Right?
It's really elegant.
That might be her best look ever.
And it feels kind of Robin-ish almost.
Yeah, it does. It really does. And Zoro's looking pretty sharp. Luffy would, but he's picking his nose.
Yeah, he's picking his nose. Yeah, it can't be too cool.
Man, look at the intricate pattern on the fringe. Like, that's a cool looking dress. Like, he put effort into that.
This is a really, really good one. I've got to go look up what this looks like in color later.
Yeah, for sure. But we get into the chapter itself, and they're like, oh God, Gecko Moria is one of the 7 warlords, and there's not much known about him, but we don't even know why a man like him is doing in a place like this. But he's like, well, the old man's like, there's a lot of victims like me wandering the forest. But we do know that Moria's had his eye on you since you got here. Some of us stay in the dark forest, always running from the zombies. Some went out to sea, but spend the rest of their lives hiding from the sun. Either way, we're cursed. You cannot truly call us alive. But I want to walk in the sun before I die. And that's when Frankie's like, oh, so,
I love
so
this
hard.
precedent for this because he is such a softie. He cried at the Usopp telling him his backstory with the Mary and all that stuff.
Yeah, I got his ongoing joke that I don't remember as often, where it's like, I'm not crying, shut up.
I don't think this lasts super long. I could be wrong about that, but
probably not. But it's still pretty good.
Yeah.
And Luffy's just like, well, we were looking for the guy who steals shadows anyway, so if he's after us, we'll just beat him up. And
yeah, maybe you'll get saved on the way.
Yeah, it's like, we're not going to go out of our way for you, but if, hey, we end up defeating him because we need to, there you go. Sorry that the tears didn't do it for you, that sort of thing. But, yep. In the meantime, the other trio have actually stumbled upon Hogback's laboratory. And he's talking about a marionette, a wonderful work of art. I love how Sindri just seems to hate Hogback.
Yeah, that's spaghetti soup. It's just pours it on the table.
Yeah, because no plates. It's like, why do you choose dishes that don't work well not on a plate?
Yeah, she's got to be doing it on purpose.
I mean, she has to, because she's like, the first thing she says is, I hope you fail right at the last possible moment. Oh God. And that's when we see a number, that this creature on the table has a number. It seems to indicate that, Hogback was the one that created all the zombies on the island. There's no other explanation.
I'm so surprised.
What a shock.
How can we handle this twist?
And that's when we get the yo-ho-ho guy showing up behind them. It's like, oh, if you're curious, why don't you just enter the room? And that's when we get this like sort of false indication in my mind. It's like, yo-ho-ho, Brooke?
And obviously not.
Obviously not. They get sent through the door, and they're like, wait, it wasn't a skeleton. He had flesh and skin. And then like, oh, crap, Hogback saw us. And Usopp's like, I didn't see anything. Definitely not an unfinished zombie. It's like, well, that's all right. In a few minutes, the night hunt will begin.
I just love that seems to have believed Usopp and just moves on. Like, oh, you didn't see anything? Very well. Okay, sure.
Yeah. And even
it doesn't matter.
It's too late. So, and I love this ramp up. This is a cool way to start escalating things. Like, the night hunt is on, and it's the time to catch them all. The night hunt. Absalom is there. You can see the white outlines. So it's like, wait, the heck? They all got reburied. And no. It's like, you're undead. Wake up, zombie soldiers. No many times you fall, you will awaken time and again. And that is why mortals always fear zombies. And they're just like, what a pain in the butt.
Yeah. Although one of them seems to have like the back of their shirt says, I am healthy.
Yes, it does.
I don't know what that's about.
I don't know, but I like the other one.
One says my life.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's very bizarre.
And we get to see a kind of outline with like a beast face type thing on this Absalom. And they start cheering for him. It's like, yes, Absalom, our leader, our pervy leader who peeps on ladies, Pervy Salam. It's like, they're not wrong.
Yeah, as I say, if you were embarrassed by it, he says, just shut up. It's like, well, it's true, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Calling you out.
If you don't like it,
You
tough
are
luck.
a disgusting pervert, and I hate
Yeah,
you.
yeah, exactly. You might be the worst character. But then we see all the Perona ghosts going all back to the certain room, going past this weird looking bear that reminds me of Monokuma from
Yeah,
Danganronpa.
it does.
And apparently his name is Kumasi.
Yep.
He's like, why do you look like that but have such a deep voice? So annoying. If you weren't cute, you wouldn't even have the right to serve me. And that's when we find out, oh, Perona is not the ghost. It's the girl controlling the ghosts.
Yeah, it seems like I don't exactly remember how this works. So this is me just kind of pointing it out. But like she's like sitting on the bed, kind of like limp.
Yeah.
And then the ghosts return to her body, and she stands back up.
Yeah, so she's able to send out spirits in order to do stuff, but it leaves her vulnerable, which is interesting.
Yeah, somehow. I don't remember the details exactly. So.
And that's when a bunch of other weird-looking zombies come out saying, hey, Master Moria, it's time to wake up. And they use an arrow to pop his snot bubble in order to wake him up. And we don't fully see him. We just see like the fact that he's huge, apparently.
He's huge, although it looks like the guys trying to wake him up might be small, but like he's still huge.
Yeah. And interesting design, like striped placard pants, I guess. And that's when they reveal that it's been 4 days since the last night hunt, and you've slept the entire time. We've already prepared 4 days worth of food. And that's when it's like, oh, this target is quite tough. It's the pirates that destroyed Enos Lobby the other day. And that's when it begins raining. And they see something weird behind the mansion. A flag. No, not a flag.
It's not a flag. That is a sail. Yeah.
And that's when the old man shows up.
I was like, this is like Thriller Bark is actually the world's largest pirate ship. You're just like, oh my God, this thing is massive.
Like, holy, we've been talking about how big pirate ships are. Some of these ships we've come across are for a while now. This dwarfs all of them.
And also, shout out to the Jolly Roger. Looks excellent. That is awesome.
Oh, that is such a cool visual to have that mansion at going up to the sky, very Castlevania-ish, and then just have the pirate flag, pirate sail.
It's a great reveal.
That's cool.
I think because it's so like foggy too. Like it's a great way to sort of like set up and pay off.
Yeah, it's not just an island; it's a whole freaking ship. So it's time to get properly introduced, because now we got Absalom of the Graveyard, the commander of the zombie soldiers and zombie generals, where looks like a man with a lion mouth sewed to his face, which, oof.
Yeah.
Next up, Ghost Princess Perona, commander of the wild zombies and surprise zombies. And yeah, if you're into goth girls, this is a great look.
She's one of my favorite characters, honestly.
And unique design.
Yeah.
That's the other great thing. She is not a Nami or Robin design.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
That's cool to see. And we never get to see Moria, but we see our 4 big leaders of this whole group. Moria, Perona, Hogback, and Absalom. And we ended off with, all right, let's go into the ghost house.
You know, I might hate Absalom with every fiber of my being, but like this is a good lineup, you know?
Oh, it's a great lineup, and it's honestly the way it feels like the tension rises. Like, oh, we're mobilizing everything against them.
Yeah, yeah.
And that sort of rise in tension and rise in stakes is like, oh, that has some potential.
Yeah, and I think the way of framing it as the night hunt is also super fun.
Yeah, like obviously they're gonna job a lot of these things, but
yeah,
eventually I'm sure they'll have some issues.
Mm-hmm.
All right, final chapter for the set, 450, Night of the Zombie Generals. And this is where we get to meet our doctor, Tsukimi, moon-gazing connoisseur. And that's why I don't think they're on the moon, because he's a moon gazer.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And of course, Tsukimi means moon gazing.
Oh, really? Of
yes.
course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah. There are. Yeah. We'll come back to
that. Okay. And somehow the robots he made are able to eat. Okay.
Yeah. I got nothing.
Yeah. You got me. But either way, the clock strikes midnight. I can't even tell. There's like 2 sets, so
Yeah.
it's sometime, and they're like, they're just confronted by Hogback, and it's like, wait, you're researching zombies? You're responsible for reviving them. It's like, I was like, on what evidence do you base your accusations? Well, I found Sindri's obituary, and it's like, hey, you went inside that room, and that's when we get the proper name.
Apparently, it's super important.
I guess we don't really hear anything about it beyond that.
Yeah.
But he's saying that, hey, dropped into the world of darkness right now, where no light can penetrate. And that's when they look behind him and see this yo-ho-ho zombie. He's just like, you're very attractive. May I take a look at your underwear?
It's like, no, first off, no, but then, wait, that sounds like Brooke.
Yeah, it's like, just like Brooke. What's going on there? That's weird. It's like, oh no. This guy, this Ryuma, is on a completely different level than the other zombies you've encountered. He's a zombie general with a very special body, hearkening from the country of Wano of the New World. I'm like, oh my God. As soon as I read that, because
Wano.
Of course I've didn't know this the first time I read it, but having known about Wano for so long because of just osmosis at this point, I'm like, you got to be kidding me, freaking Oda.
It gets mentioned a whole lot. way. I mean, hey, obviously this is, chapter 450.
Yeah.
But there will be a lot more mentions of it. But also, this is Ryuma, who is a samurai, and as I sort of alluded to at the beginning of the podcast, this is Ryuma is also the name of the main character from Monsters, the one shot that Oda did.
My God. Is it the same design, or because I've never read it?
I think it is supposed to be the same Ryuma. I want to say that it is.
You might be right, because the next thing they say is, like, I don't know if it's true or not, but they say a long time ago he slew a flying dragon.
Yeah, and that's what Monsters is about. It's about Ryuma fighting a dragon. So there you go. That's
Good God.
Monsters is canon-ish to One Piece.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and there are a few other details about this that we'll see later, but
yeah. And no matter what, this dude is badass.
Yeah, of course, they're just like, all right, time to run, and then I don't even really know what happens, or like
he seems to he unsheathes his sword, walks past them without seemingly doing anything, even though they're all kind of battle ready. And then he's like, oh, would you be opening the passage and making me a snack, Sindri? He's like, oh, I thought he was going to kill us. Well, we got a chance. Let's run. And as soon as they try to run, all of them get hit by this massive attack. And it's like, oh, no. Those who are slain by a master, only after they have walked 3 steps, still humming, shall they realize they've been slain. Like, jeez.
Straight out of a samurai movie.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
You're already dead type of thing.
Yeah, no, that's obviously very bad news for our scaredy cat trio, but like, oh, okay, so Ryuma means business.
Oh, yeah. It's like, okay, we need to get Zoro over here stat, because I want to see this.
Help.
We go back to the others, and Luffy's like, excuse me, we're coming in. It's like, he didn't even wait. Oh, the door's locked. Oh, hey, now it opens. It's like, yeah, because you broke the lock.
Broke it, yep. Oh, no.
And they're just like, oh, weird. There's all kinds, it's like some sort of mess going on here. And that's when Oink Chuck starts talking. It's like, oh, you know of our master, yet you still came. What courage. And that's when all the portrait ghosts start coming out. And Luffy's immediately like, oh, so cool.
Sanji going into attack first, ask questions later. Before they even get a chance to move, like Sanji just goes and kicks one of them in the face. And just like, where did you hide Nami?
Yeah, he's ready to do that. And like goes, Robin's like, oh, it's unbecoming of you to gape like that. You could be beautiful. You acted more ladylike, and just twist the gaping maw portrait.
Oh my God.
Just completely stomps every one of these ghosts or these surprise zombies. Yep, that's it for all of them. And the Oink Chuck is like, so about those other 3, they're sleeping in the bedroom. Go see them. It's like, no, you're lying. And Sanji has already disappeared.
Oh, now it's a ghost house.
Yep.
We got people disappearing one by one.
I wonder if he heard they're in the bedroom and he went immediately, or is he just searching on his own? It's hard to tell with him. Actually, it sounds like they're laughing. So yeah, it looks like they did do something to Sanji. So, not so good. He's like, just because you're kind of strong doesn't mean you'll survive. Freaked out because your guy went missing. So you're right. He's like, you'll be fine. They're just like, wait, it's like, you don't care?
I love that they're all just they're trying to scare him. They're trying to freak him out. They're just like, whatever.
Yeah, not a big deal. It's like, oh no, one by one of your friends will disappear. If you'll regret coming here, because under Gecko Moria, no one will survive. And Luffy's just like, hey, tell that idiot Moria that if anything happens to my crew, I'll blast your island until there's nothing left of it. They're like, what?
They tried to threaten Luffy. Luffy's just like, nuh-uh. That's not how things work around here.
And of course, we can't have a zombie thing without a reference to Thriller.
Of course.
Got the disco ball out, got zombie night dancing, all good there.
Yes.
But it's time to see more of these zombie generals because Absalom is waking them up. Got some big shouldered dude, a guy drinking, a long neck dude, and a guy with four arms, each wielding a gun.
Yeah.
And that's how we end, is just like, oh, we have even more zombie generals on the way. So I
feel like we're about to start getting some fights ramping up. Like we got basically like the big four, and we're getting some of their underlings, and we got introduced to Ryuma, who seems like might be one of the biggest threats.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. And I gotta say, like I said, they stumbled with that whole freaking Nami shower scene at the beginning. But ever since then, it's like, oh crap, I don't remember it being this hype.
Yeah, this arc is picking up. I gotta admit, it's picking up.
Yeah, it got right into it, which is impressive because you're used to sort of more setup than that. And this is like, no, we're going for it.
And like I said earlier, like I feel like you really get the sense that like Oda is filling his chapters with more stuff. Like these, like there's a lot more story progression in a single chapter. Than we've seen up to before, which is something that is a trend.
I'm just happy that we still got through it at a pretty decent time despite that, just because I made sure to trim as much as I could.
Yeah, I feel like we're gonna have to speed through some stuff.
Yeah, but man, so far pretty good with some caveats.
Yeah, I'm having a good time. I'm going in with an open mind and having a good time.
Yeah, that's the way to do it. So, we do have an SBS. SBSs have returned. Nothing really of major use other than ages for everybody. The oldest was Spandam at 39. The youngest was Kaku at 23.
Yeah, all right, because he talks like an old man. So,
right.
How long were they undercover for? This is like 5 or 6 years, right?
3 to 5 years, I want to say.
Yeah, so I mean, this was Kaku like 18.
I guess so.
He started getting undercover.
It shows how good he was. My God. All right. Well, at that, I believe we've said all we've wanted to say about chapters 446 to 450. Thank you so much for listening. And you can find more of my ramblings and stream VODs over at BitNerd Games on YouTube or BitNerd with an underscore at the end on Twitter. And Brandon, where can everyone find you at?
I'm at Brandon Bovia on Twitter, talking about anime, manga games and my job. And like I said, we're celebrating a lot of milestones. Dragon Ball. Okay, I mentioned we hit chapter 100, but also we finished Superhero. We're done. We're done.
Thank goodness. Any hint of what's to come, or is it just like nope?
No, it is just the end of the movie. Yeah, just straight up. So,
oh my God.
I mean, I still can't believe we had a cliffhanger. The last arc ended on a cliffhanger. It introduced something really important, and then they were like, "We're just gonna adapt Superhero for a year." And I'm like, "Are we gonna talk about this other thing that happened?" So maybe we'll get back to that.
Wait.
Maybe not. I don't know. And there was a whole bunch of news for Kaiju number 8 that happened. New trailer for the anime and staff and voice actors and stuff getting announced, and some other things I'll be able to announce soon.
Very, very cool. So yeah, definitely follow Brandon and keep an eye on that. And if you'd like to help us out more, you can support the podcast over at patreon.com/Derek Bittner. That's DERRICKBITNER to listen to the next episode ad-free 3 days early. And make sure to return next time as we celebrate 100 episodes of the podcast by watching the episode of Alabasta Movie.
Boo!
I've never seen it. I've never seen it, so I will be going. This is the one time that I've not seen a movie. You have. So the roles are reversed on this one. So this will be interesting.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
So until then, my friends, bye.
Remember to take life one piece at a time.
Hey, don't put me back on the ground, jackass!
It's an old man with serious injuries.